Welcome to the Warframe Weapon Encyclopedia, where today we're checking out the dual cleavers. You can get the blueprint for the dual cleavers from the market, and they're one of the cheapest weapons you can get. Now, the dual cleavers are a mastery rank 5 pair of, well, technically dual swords is what they're classified as, and they do primarily slash damage with really good crit, somewhat low status, and relatively low attack speed. They're also very short, with a range of only 1.7 meters. So if it feels like you're not hitting stuff that you feel like you should be hitting, you might want to put on a range mod. Now, if you're a newer player, you're gonna start off with a build kind of like this. You put on whatever stance you have, then you add some damage with pressure point, you squeeze in as much crit as possible with True Steer and Organ Shatter, then you put in some 90% elemental mods, and you top it off with a little bit of status via melee prowess. Melee prowess is very much not necessary though, it's not gonna do a ton, so you might want to swap it out for reach so you have a little bit more range. If you're not a new player though, or you simply want something that's a little bit stronger, I would recommend a build like this, where we go with primed pressure point for the damage, then we have blood rush and weeping wound, so we scale our crit and status as we build our combo counter, and then we're gonna put in 2 dual stat mods as well as drifting contact for the combo duration and berserker fury for the attack speed. The downside with this more advanced setup is that we don't necessarily have an obvious place to put in primed reach, so if you feel like the weapon doesn't have enough range, what I would recommend doing is actually taking out drifting contact and switching to the Naramon focus school so your combo doesn't decay all at once, and then you can put primed reach instead of drifting contact. And just very quickly before we jump into the simulacrum, I also want to mention Justice Blades, which is a dual cleaver specific augment that provides you with 100% extra melee damage as well as the Justice effect, which once you gather enough affinity will cause an explosion that hits all enemies within 25 meters of you for 1000 blast damage and reduce their accuracy by 30% for 6 seconds, as well as recover 25% of your maximum life, as well as fortify your base armor by 15% for 30 seconds. Now, this augment is unfortunately not great, and I don't use it anymore because the amount of damage it provides is simply too low. Now, even though the dual cleavers are very old, you can get them very early on, and they're also super cheap, their performance is pretty great. They're one of the few early game weapons that can actually carry you through the entire game if you keep updating your build as you acquire more and more mods. The only downside here is that if you want the best damage you can get out of these, you're gonna have to deal with the short range. So would I recommend the dual cleavers? Yes, absolutely. If you're a newer player, this is gonna be a fantastic weapon that's gonna stay with you for a long time, and it also doesn't require much investment. As long as you have the mods, you're good to go. It doesn't need any format even for a full build. Plus, if you really like the dual cleavers, you know you probably want to pick up the Prisma dual cleavers, which is just an upgrade in every way, shape or form, and you can get those from Barakatir. And that is pretty much it. So I thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video and found it helpful, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.